Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free. Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free. Yeah.
Today's talk is called Sandpaper and Silk. I'm going to read this poem to you real quickly. Actually, I'm going to go slow. Sandpaper and silk, velvet and steel, be who we are, both sides just as real. How do we walk betwixt shadow and light, asking the questions, who, when, and what's right? An intimate dance with the holiest of selves, to know our own souls, deeper we delve. Many masters have journeyed, now ascended above, shared life's avowed secrets of oneness and love. They've given us guidance, they've shown us a path to hasten the brutality of our self-punishing wrath. To dwell in that promised land of honey and milk is to bide with the balance of sandpaper and silk. Breathe. Thanks, Lisa. Me and my sister were having a talk one day, and I was describing a person that is dear to me in my life. And I said, he's kind of like, and then I said sandpaper and silk. And then a whole talk ensued. Because at any given point in our lives, this is who we are. Now, we have talked this year so far and about the different selves and our emotional body and going into that and all the wonderful cast members we have within us. But today is about two basic ones, sandpaper and silk. The side of us that's abrasive, and the side of us that's smooth. So how many of us think we're smooth? No, man. Have you ever had your smooth moments? You know, like really smooth? I was in 7th grade and I liked this girl named Lisa Hart. I had a crush on her. She was my love. We're in study hall. It was a real long room. It's a very old building in Salem Junior High School. It was, I think, from the 1800s. Late 1800s, or early 1900s is when the school was built, so it was old as dirt. Big old boilers down in the basement, all oil heat, big 3-story cement building, all wood floors. And the study halls were 2 classrooms put together where they opened the wall, and everything echoed. And it was old, and it was quiet. And we had the scariest teacher at the front of the room, who was Mrs. Epstein. The algebra teacher that already scared me. And she was the one doing study hall that day, and she was a very no-nonsense teacher. If you got up to sharpen your pencil more than 2 times, she knew you were onto something, and she had no bones about humiliating you in front of everyone. Well, I was a pretty shy kid, but I was going to be smooth because I was writing Lisa Hart a note to tell her I liked her. And to circle yes or no or whatever crap I wanted to know. I was in 7th grade, man. So I'm all nervous. And I write this note. And my desk is back here, 4 rows away from her desk. So I have to go to the front of the class, right in front of the teacher, to the side, and then halfway down the room to where the pencil sharpener was, because that was my ploy. I was going to sharpen my pencil. I was smooth, I had it, I knew it. And 2 feet before I got to where Lisa was, I was just going to casually toss her the note and make my way sharpening my pencil. Some bonehead tripped me. Stuck his foot out. So I did a nosedive at Lisa's feet. I landed right at her feet. The entire study room of about 80 kids, of course, were laughing at the top of their lungs at me. You think I sweat now? I had hair then and I was still soaked. That was my smooth moment. But sometimes smooth is a little bit different than that moment. Because most guys think they're smooth all the time. They have the Jimmy Dean complex. They just think they're cool. And this is a little bit different talk. This is a little bit different kind of smoothness. This is about sandpaper and silk. This is about how we are with each other. At any given moment in time, you're going to get the best or the worst of me. You're going to get the softest side of me. You're going to get the most hard-headed, stubborn, abrasive part of my personality. And generally, when I'm feeling like crap, you're going to get what? The most abrasive part of me. And if I'm feeling good and plugged into my wonder, you're going to get the silk. And at any given time, one of them is going to take the road, take the show, take the lead. So who are you showing to people? Are you showing them your sandpaper side? Or are you showing them your silk side? Without beating yourselves up. See, today we did a meditation. We started with a meditating CD, which I really like. What's the lady's name again?
Sherelle Hicks.
Sherelle, that's the name I keep wanting to say. Sherelle Hicks did a little meditation CD. She does meditation music. And today the one we used was they're chakras. So Mel's like, which chakra do you want to use? I'm like, the throat chakra. Because this is about communication. And this is what we do with each other. It's like, if I'm abrasive to you, it wasn't just standing there. I didn't just look how abrasive he is. You can't really see that unless I'm acting it out. It's my delivery to you. There's been a lot of times that I've had to deliver a truth to somebody that was very valid, and my delivery sucked. It was full of sand. It was very abrasive. There's so much sand, I could cut things with it. It's like, before saws came along, they used sandpaper. They used sand. They used sand and a piece of metal. That's what cut into stone. That's how they did that. Sand is a very abrasive thing. One little thing of sand can get, if anybody had sand up their butt before? Hey man, we're like right down to the crux of the matter here. How did that feel? Was it enjoyable? No. That's why the first thing we do when we get back from the beach is we go take a shower, because all that sand in us feels uncomfortable. Well, imagine if that's how you were delivering everything you ever said to somebody. Every time you wanted to share your feelings with somebody, that's what you threw at them. Sand. You were abrasive with them. But if you were just smooth all the time, what would happen?
Well, people kind of take advantage of you, in the world.
You become a doormat.
That way. Yeah.
That's true too. That's very valid. So if I'm smooth all the time, people might not take me seriously or honor my boundaries. But if I want to impart something to you, I need balance. So there's been masters that have taught us different things along the way about balance. The Buddha talked about balance very much so. And I've used the example of a guitar. Now we have Julie and Dave right here today. They've been playing guitars for us today. Both of them. Robin and Kim play guitar. There's other people that may play guitar. Tell me, when you're tuning your guitar, what happens if you don't tighten the strings? What do you get? Floppity flop flop. Nothing. Right? It's flopping strings. What happens if you tighten the string too tight? Pop! No music. What is the goal, if I might ask,
Impossible injury.
with a guitar?
Julie said that's right.
To play music in tune. So if I string it too tight, pop. If I string it too loose, floppity flop. Nothing. If I'm too abrasive, pop. If I'm too smooth, no friction. Nothing. We have all fingerprints, right? It's our uniqueness. That's part of our uniqueness. That's cool. We all have a different set of fingerprints. But have you ever looked at your hand and seen all the lines on your hand? You know what they're there for? So the stuff doesn't just slip right through everything. If I didn't have any kind of friction on my hands, I wouldn't be able to grasp anything in life. Everything would constantly fall through my fingers. Well, we also know of another master. There was a story told about this guy named Jesus. And he was smooth, right? He was always nice, very smooth, never was abrasive at all, right?
No.
Would we have heard about him if he never jumped ugly in the temple? Would we have never heard about him if the guy never got pissed off in the temple about the disrespect and the lack of integrity they had in what they were calling a holy place? See, he was popping their bubbles. They were the ones saying this is a holy place and this is how you were treating it, and he got pissed. And he let them know about it. And we've known about it now 2,000 years later. So if that story was told differently, and we were told that he was just nothing but sweet as pie always, we might not have heard about the man. Because he did get angry, he did become abrasive sometimes, but he was also one of the smoothest people as the story goes, that we could ever meet. Matter of fact, he was so smooth and so pure that when he touched you, your stuff was healed. Now, I was talking last night with my nephew and my niece. We were talking about purity and what that meant. And so many times we think purity means innocent from any misgiving ever. Perfect. Wonderful, which I am wonderful. We're all wonderful. But let's redefine purity. Let's redefine it as a place of this. Get a PVC pipe, get any kind of pipe, and look down it. Brand new pipe. Got nothing stuck to the sides. That water's going to flow right through because it's pure. But sometimes we get calcium buildups, we get lime buildups, we get all kinds of deposits on the inside of that pipe that prevent the water flow. It's that simple. There's no judgment with that. Are you judging your pipes at home? You might be mad that you have to replace them, but if we feed ourselves, nourish ourselves, we'll stay pure. Sometimes we nourish ourselves with food and spiritual food that clogs up the pipes. Be it our physical pipes or our emotional, mental, spiritual, ethereal pipes. So purity is just a matter of flushing the system. There's different kind of ceremonies. There's purification ceremonies, lodge, things like that. Many cultures have different kind of ceremonies that will help you purify. But what we're talking about here is what side of the coin do I want to approach you from? I can flow and be pure and have that light flowing through me all the time. But now as I'm delivering it to you, what side of myself am I coming from? Am I coming from sandpaper or silk? Hopefully. But sometimes I might need to be a little abrasive. I have to create friction. Science will tell us that friction is the result and releases energy. Without friction, what happens? We need some friction in the world. I would slip. Again, look, the same thing are on my feet. I have the same lines on my feet. Fire. We'd have no fire. We'd have no passion. We'd have no heat. It'd be cold. There's many aspects of friction, bless you, and of sandpaper and of silk, or velvet steel. When I was a kid in catechism class, I heard the lesson velvet steel. And I always liked it because I thought, yeah, that's the kind of man I want to be. I want to be strong enough to be adamant and strong enough to protect the people, because that's when I still thought I just had to protect the people. But soft enough for them to know my heart. So again, we have masters like Jesus walking around that didn't just always talk sweet and soft and nice. He sometimes got in their face. I shared the lesson with the healing pools of Bethesda, where the man had been sitting there for years and years and years, saying, well, every time I go to the pool, someone gets in front of me, so I can't heal. And he was being very whiny, and Jesus got pissed off at him and yelled at him and said, pick up thy mat and walk. Do it. How long you been here? Really? Really? That long now? He got angry with the guy, but he did it in an admonishing way. He did it to uplift him. He told him to get up off his butt and do it. Sometimes we've had those people in our lives that have been a little bit abrasive with us and said, hey man, get off your butt. You're being up on a log. You got stuck you fell into a pit, and there's a ladder in there too. You're waiting for us to throw you a rope, and you have a ladder, there's steps on this side, there's blocks that you can build together. You can get out of the pit. So sometimes our friends will be yelling down to us saying, get up, get out, do it. Now, if there was no ladder, if there was no rope, and you were truly at the bottom of a pit, that's when we need each other to help. That's when being abrasive with me, I'm just going to look up at you and go, you can yell all you want at me. I'm stuck in the bottom of a pit. Your yelling is not going to serve me in this moment because there's no way out for me. All you're doing is yelling at me. If that built the ladder, then great, yell on. But it didn't. So maybe that would be the time for you to exercise some smoothness, to go in with yourself and go, okay, what can I do to help this person out of their pit? Yelling at them obviously isn't working. When I was younger and lifted weights all the time and was adamantly working out, sometimes you'd have a buddy, a partner, and if they were the kind of partner that said, oh, you could do it, and that wasn't the words they used, I'd put the weights down. And I look at him like, wrong guy to use that method with. Because I do not work by the motivation of degrading me. Now if you say, come on man, you can do it, one more, I know you got it in you, I'd be spitting and sweating and pushing to get that next one out. But the nanosecond you try to diss me and condescend to me or put my spirit down, I'm done. And I have been that way everywhere in my life. Employers have not known what to do with me because they just looked at me in the face where I just say no to them. Like, talk to me in a positive sentence or tell me something positive to do in a good way and I'll do it for you. I'll be the best employee you've ever had. I'll be your most loyal worker. I'll be here on time and you'll never have to worry about any integrity issues. Talk to me like a jerk and I will go south like that. I am unwilling to be dealt with abrasively constantly. But if you're helping me because I got stuck in my own pit and can't see that there's a ladder right there or a rope or a box or a hydraulic lift with an electric plug and a button I can push to just lift me out. Sometimes we do have all those things right in front of us in our own pit and we refuse to see. So sometimes our brothers and sisters being a little bit abrasive with us will serve us in that moment. It'll help get us off of our stuff, out of our pit, out of our gunk, out of the tar that we've stuck into, because we're the ones who chose this. We did choose it. We did willingly walk into the pit. Now, if I unwillingly did it and had no idea there was even a pit in front of me, this has happened. We all have stuff in life we didn't know we were about to walk into. Self-awareness is what we're about here. It's like everybody in this community has come to this kind of place because something different was awakening within them. So I call them out more. I will call you out more than I will call out some person that says, I've never heard anything that you're talking about. Or what are you talking about? Are you weird? And I can say, yeah. But I'm trying to help you find yourself and help you own the things within you. It's like we were talking about last week. The God self is fine. There's nothing wrong with their God selves. Nobody in here has any issues with their God self. I guarantee you, I'm willing to bet any body part on it. Willing to bet every body part on it. But I would suggest that we probably all have had some issues in our human self, and that clearing those issues away will lead us right there. Done this story before, and Tammy sent it to me years ago, about where God hid the divinity of man. And then they first said, well, let's hide on the top of the highest mountain. And the other creator God said, no, man will journey and seek. We'll climb the highest mountain and look for it and find it there. And they didn't want man to have his divinity yet because they were afraid that he did not know what to do with the power and the divinity, the empowerment of how special we are as gods. So another one of the creator gods said, well, let's bury it in the deepest of seas. Man will never look for it there. And Brahm said, yes, he will. He will create technology to dive to the deepest because man is always searching. So finally Brahm said, well, I know. We'll hide the divinity of man deep within themselves, for there they will never look. Until New Thought came along. And people that wanted to start becoming self-aware and go, well, wait a minute, there's got to be something more to what I was told through some of the religions. And I'm not going to knock any religions, or nor the people in them. I will empower them to see a higher truth. And I have knocked religion before. That was my pendulum getting out of it, because I've been hurt with it. It's been very abrasive to me, and to a lot of people, thinking that they were smooth. Well, there's a lot of people that are a lot of different faiths that are coming from a good place, and I honor them, and I will invite them to go look in the mirror and find God. If they want to say, what's the pot about? Like, we found God. You did? Yeah. Come here. We'll show you. And then we'll go send them right to the mirror. And if that mirror's not big enough, we'll open those curtains, because there's a mirror behind those curtains. And we'll say, yeah, this is all we do here. And then we hang out, sing, and have fun. But my goal, my personal goal, is to always have you look into you. To have you find God right there, in your eyes, or my eyes, or your sister or brother's eyes. And that when we're trying to discover that within ourselves, that we own when we're being abrasive, we own when we're being smooth, and if there's out of balance between the two of them. If I'm being too abrasive, watch my friends go away one at a time. If I'm being too smooth, watch my friends go away one at a time. What? Why would they do that? Because Mark has no substance anymore. He just is a yes man. Anything people say, okay. It's like, you don't want that for me. Not even my friends want that for me. They may think they wanted that, but after so many yeses, they're going to go, golly, where's his grit? Well, I smoothed it all out. Sometimes in this new thought, new age, I'm gonna breathe into this one. Everybody wants to hide out in airy-fairy and positivity. And I'm telling you, you're lying to yourself if you want to do that. You're discounting a whole side of the world if you do that. It's like if they said, Mark, we're going to cut your arm off today. Are you happy? I go, no, that sucks. And I will go in and find what the divine order of that is. I will go in and pray. I will go in and meditate and be with that, because all is as it should be, and I honor that. I know I owned this. I created it. I honor it. I'm going through it, and now I call it a bag of joy. So I have shifted because there's been many tears that I've cried over this. This has brought an abrasive part of me out. I've been grumpy, I've been scared, I've been in fear. And then I processed it, I owned it, I told the truth to myself about how I felt. That's what owning means, telling the truth to myself about how I feel. Or when you tell me the truth of how I've been acting, I have to own that too sometimes. Well, some of these fears have made me be abrasive. Some of them have caused me to be a little bit grumpy sometimes in my fear and in my woe and in my sadness. And now we're starting to slip too much to that side. So I had to remember my balance again, remember my heart. My heart will always bring me back to my smoothness. These are the secrets that these masters told us about with our oneness in our own divinity. That it's all within. We just go within, go into our heart. It's like balance is everything. Don't think that your heart is so pure, it can be open, that it's never made a mistake. That's not what purity means. Purity doesn't mean that I'm innocent of ever erroring. Erroring? Poetic license. Purity means I'm just, nothing stuck to the sides and the water can flow, or the light. So I can clean myself out. I can purge the things that would clog my own pipes. I can look inside and go, well, am I too abrasive? Am I only sandpaper? Because have you ever felt sandpaper? Sometimes it feels kind of neat. Matter of fact, the tile that we put in our patio outside, we got grit in it because we have a pool. So we didn't want people to just slip. But when it's all dry and stuff, you're walking on your bare feet, it kind of feels neat. But if it was like spikes and stuff, that would hurt. If it was big, coarse rocks, that would hurt. I have enough calluses built up on my feet to deal with that. So I would want something a little bit smoother. So sometimes we sand things down to smooth them. We use sandpaper to smooth things. So the same thing that was abrasive can now bring smoothness. So if I had a hard heart, maybe sandpaper or my friends being willing enough to tell me the truth about my hard heart will smooth it. So it's not about judging any one thing as right or wrong. It's not about judging the sandpaper as evil, and the smoothness is angelic. The smoothness is from the light, right? And the sandpaper is down here, right? Yeah. See, the frequency and all that is true, but I've never intended for anybody to think that if I tell you bass frequency that I meant bad or evil. There's no judgment. But there's only so much music that plays down there, and the kind of music that plays down there is very bass music. And I'm going to go to the bass on purpose. You can play the bass all day long, and it's fun, and we can get down into it. But if you play the bass, do you ever play the bass by yourself in a concert?
Yeah.
Just bass? But you created melodies and rhythms and things like that. But are you just going bong, dong, dong, dong? That's what I'm talking about. And I don't have enough music knowledge to know the solos of basses. But I was going on pure of the bass notes. There's just only so much music in those chords. But as we bring in all the other notes, then you can have concerts, we can have symphonies, we can have the whole gambit of everything. And that's really more what I was going to. You actually taught me something just now. Cool, I want to go. But from the place of just the string, just the bass, there's nothing bad there. But there's more when I bring more strings into it. And there's more when I bring the other elements of music into it to where I can create a symphony. That's what I'm talking about. It's about balance. It's about bringing both. If I'm only smooth, I'm not going to have any depth to my life. It's like some of the people like, it's all love, it's all wonderful, it's all love, nothing wrong has ever happened. Really? I cry a lot for nothing then. Some things are sad, man. Some things are just what they are. It's the biggest thing here is about balance. It's like, as we're looking at this poem, and like I said, I've written these poems as to be a map for myself. It's like we've done this whole journey in this poem this year. If you've noticed how I've been writing things, it's like we've asked the question who, what, when. We looked inside and looked at these selves. We also last week talked about the sacred sexuality selves, the holiest of selves, the inner male and the inner female. All of that is part of this dance. Who do you think we're most abrasive with in our lives? Ourselves. And then who? The next one is going to be the one we're closest to, our spouses, our children, our family. What a joy that is. It's like, these are the people that we're closest to, and these are the ones that we're coming up with our coarsest grit sandpaper. We're pulling out of our toolbox and coming up to them and go, and they're like, what was that about? Oh no, I got fired. So I just thought I'd take it out on you. And it's like, when we realize that we're doing that, all we have to do is drop the sandpaper and say, whoops, sorry, it is that clean, it is that easy, there's no flogging of selves, there's no places that you have to go to repent and for penance. You have to look each other in the eyes and sincerely say, whoops, sorry, I did not mean to do that to you. I did not mean to step on your toes. I did not mean to be that abrasive because I was hurting. And if I'm going to, I better do it on purpose. And I will come in there and tell you, I'm doing it on purpose. Because you're going so smooth, you can't even sit in the chair without sliding off. You can't even sit in the chair without sliding off. That's too smooth. If you're always going to end up on the deck because you're so smooth, you're not letting anything stick to you. Sometimes things gotta stick. You gotta just listen and listen to what your brother or sister is telling you. And if they're coming a little abrasive, breathe for a moment and discover whether it's their stuff or yours. Because they may be being abrasive with you on purpose to make a point to you to help you out of your pit. Again, if I'm at this pit and I've got a ladder, an elevator, and all these things around me and I'm not using it, are you gonna yell at me and tell me to pick up my mat and walk? I hope so. Please do that for me. If I get stuck in my crap so much that I'm not moving, please yell at me. But if I'm moving fine in my life, don't yell at me. I'm very sensitive. I'm very, very sensitive. And I own that. I am very sensitive, and that's part of my gifts. I've owned it this year when people go, you're too sensitive. I'm like, oh yeah? No, I'm not. I'm just sensitive enough. Because I always felt guilty about how sensitive I was until I realized that my sensitivities are my gifts that help the people. It's like, so quit beating me up about being sensitive. I'm owning it. Yep, you're damn right I'm sensitive. Wear my heart right there. And I don't even have sleeves. So, but because who I am and how quickly I process, I get over it real quick. I don't hold it. You may see it on me because no poker for me. It's on my face. But it's gone because it's my little kid that gets his feelings hurt that quick when someone comes at me with sandpaper. So I'm telling you who I am. I'm dropping the dime on myself. I'm letting you know how to deal with this person. That's what our job is. You have to teach me how to love you. You have to teach me how to communicate with you. You have to teach me how to interact with you. Because I may bring sandpaper to the game, thinking that this will serve you. Because, well, it served my friend over here when he was stuck in the pit. Oh, I climbed right out of the pit. Thanks, Mark. And then I go over here, and you're like, what are you doing? I was helping. No, you're not. That hurts. I have a ladder and I know how to use it. Oh. Well, what do I know? Well, then what do you want from me? Some smoothness. That's your responsibility. You have to tell me this. If you tell Mark what I need to do or what I should do, you know me enough to know that I don't like that. I will shut down on you. You might as well tell the wall what it needs to do, and you'll probably get a quicker response. It's the coarsest sandpaper you can use with me, because what you've just told me is if I don't do it, I'm wrong. If I don't do what you just told me I need to do or should do, I'm an idiot and don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, I don't like that. Don't tell me that, please. But if you want to give me a suggestion, because you see a road that I'm on, and you're like, you have a lot of rocks in your road, Mark, and you've been tripping over every single one of them. And I know you're a pretty aware person, but the path you've been on for the last week or so, you must have put some sunglasses on that you can't see through, so I'm trying to lovingly tell you, what are you doing, buddy? That's what I want from my people people in my life that love me and want to call me out lovingly. Yes, but if there's nothing to call me out on, if it's your stuff, be aware. If you think I should, then it's your stuff. If you think I need to, then it's your stuff. That's a good barometer for you to know if this is my stuff or is this their stuff. I just want to help you. Do you really need to do this? Because I just want to help you. So you should do this. Should. You should.
You should or not?
You should. You're shitting on all of us. Because that's how it feels when people tell us what we should do. Just breathe into it. And just be aware whether the silk or the sandpaper is needed in the moment. And where you are with yourselves in this. I would invite you to be smooth with yourselves and only a little bit of grit. Because we don't need that much motivation when we're the ones doing it. We just need to go inside and be with ourselves and say, I can. And then choose your will and do it. You don't have to be abrasive with yourself to do it. Now, if you're being so smooth that you're just never doing anything, then yeah, you can say, hey buddy, get up. Pick up your mat and walk. If you've been stuck sitting there for your whole life, waiting for somebody else to save you, it's not going to happen. Even Jesus knows that wasn't the story he intended being told about him. He came and taught us how to save ourselves. He taught us magic. He taught us how to look within and be the gods and goddesses that you are. That stuff you'll read more in the Gnostic Gospels than you will in the Bible. But Mary Magdalene wrote about those things. Do all the research. Do all the looking at the story of what some of the masters have taught us. And then go within to the master that lives here. This is the most important thing I'm going to say ever in my life. Go inside to the master that lives here and then decide for yourself what the truth is. There's universal laws and there's physical laws, and you have to obey them whether you like them or not. Gravity works. Whether I agreed with that or not, gravity just worked. It fell to the floor. I didn't see it, I can't grab it, but we all know it's there. Well, the internal gravity that you have works. Own it. What you're attracting to you is by virtue of what your magnetics are. And be gentle. Be gentle, be gentle, be gentle. There's no room to beat yourself up here. There's no room in this world for you to diss yourself, to disrespect who you are, the most divine being ever created. So breathe into that. Breathe into your brothers and sisters, and be aware of when you're being sandpaper and when you're being silk. And love yourself for both of them. I hope it's awesome. Thank you.
I'm so tired of living a lie. Of picking up the pieces of my life, of my life, of my life. Finding out that I'm the one. be me. I wanna be all that I'm meant to be. I wanna be free. I wanna be me. I wanna be all that I'm meant to be. I wanna be free. And I wanna be me. I wanna be all that I'm meant to be. Yeah. I wanna run, I wanna fly, to be the one who reaches high. I wanna run, I wanna fly, to be the one who reaches high. I wanna run, I wanna fly, to be the one who reaches high. I wanna run, I wanna fly. I wanna be free. I wanna be me. I wanna be all that I'm meant to be. I wanna be free. I wanna be me. I wanna be all that I'm meant to be. Help me be free. Help me be me. Help me be all that I'm meant to be. Help me be free. Help me be me. Help me be all that I'm meant to be. Bless all